I will talk about climate change, SDG 13, but just because it's also so much interconnected with climate change, I will also refer to SDG 15, which is focused on biodiversity. SDG 13 takes, let me just explain what they are. SDG 13 takes action to reduce impact from climate change. And SDG 15 takes action to protect, restore, promote ecosystems, manage forests, reverse land degradation, and biodiversity loss. This time, if that's okay, I will start with some action points to promote those, how to promote those two SDGs. And then I would like to also, again, provide an example to demonstrate why these two SDGs are very important and how they are interconnected to each other. So first of all, again, from the financial service sector, professionals should take steps to measure, reduce, and report climate exposure. Then they should promote financial products that mitigate climate risk, such as green bonds. They should integrate climate risks into underwriting practices or into their investment analysis. They should disclose carbon footprints in investment portfolios. And they should use innovative financing options to preserve and restore forests. And finally, also valuing ecosystem services, what the value they are offering us. So finding and sharing tools to increase that understanding, just to signal why it's so crucial that we protect those natural habitats. As a response now to this round, I wish, also providing an example, I wish to talk about something nicer. So rainforests, nature, and a little bit about the animal world, and also in particular about tigers. I want to talk about tigers because, first of all, they are very popular. Everyone loves taking pictures with them on social media. But even more importantly, actually, tigers play a very key role in our ecosystem. And the fact that they are a species currently threatened by extinction, and that we keep moving them from their natural habitats is actually extremely counterproductive to all the efforts we are doing for climate action. And if that's okay, I would like to elaborate a little bit on that. So studies indicate, first of all, why is climate change so crucial, and why is climate change and biodiversity so interconnected to each other? Studies indicate that about 1 million species are now threatened with extinction through wildlife poaching, environmental degradation, and global warming. First of all, we need to understand that natural systems, such as rainforests, are very complex systems. So all species actually fulfill a certain role in that system. Therefore, when even one species gets lost, there's a reduction in the system connectivity. This then reduces the ability of our natural systems, such as forests, for example, to deal with global warming and with absorbing the emissions that are coming from humans. The second thing is about temperature changes. Due to very rapid changes in temperatures, species have to adapt to new climate conditions, and they have to adapt very fast. One of the ways that these animals or plants can cope with this is to migrate. However, while this is feasible for some animals, highly mobile species such as fish or insects, many slower moving animals, or especially plants, for example, also coral reefs, it's simply not possible for them to adapt to this type of fast changing temperatures. Which is why there are so many species that are really on the brink of extinction. Now, same thing can happen and is happening with the loss of predator animals such as tigers and lions. When those predator animals are removed from their natural habitats, their loss can actually lead to an increase in the environmental degradation. Why? Because when they are removed, the population of the grazing animals, such as deer, due to the absence of the predators, will increase. And what happens is that this often leads to further biodiversity loss, because forests are not being able to regenerate themselves as effectively, because those grazing animals are eating the young trees. So, so this is just to demonstrate to you how extremely connected everything is with each other. And so when we do climate action, we also at the same time have to make sure that we are protecting and preserving the environment, restoring the environment. And while we are doing all that, we also need to put the right legislation and the regulation to reduce and eliminate that wildlife trafficking as well. Unfortunately, wildlife trade of exotic animals at the moment is not good, although there are some measures being taken as we speak. But this poaching of wild animals is a serious issue, including for tigers. In fact, it's an eye-opening fact that there are more tigers in captivity in the United States at the moment than out there in the wild all over the world. So many governments, including the US, lack a central accountable agency to detect tigers that are held in captivity, and they don't know what's really happening to them. But there are measures that are being put in place now to change this. So just as this example shows, these days we are increasingly finding ourselves in situations that has to remind us how our world is highly interconnected. Our recommendation, therefore, is not to look at things in isolation, but look at things from a system approach. And this is how we should try to solve those nature-related problems. And in all of that, where does AI stand? Well, maybe there are some cases where AI could really be helpful here, simply because of the technology. For example, some technologies could become more effective in fighting that wildlife animal trafficking. And also, I think there's remote sensing that really helps detection in a much more effective level. And then also, artificial intelligence can help determine, for example, how land usage is changing, where the rainforests are growing and where they are shrinking, etc. So there are really some very cool tools that AI could provide, and hopefully those could help us deal with climate change, with biodiversity, and really trying to solve those problems in a meaningful way, and finding solutions for all of them at the same time.